summer sausage there. We're putting it on tortillas. Man, that is good. My brother Sleeves right there. You guys haven't seen him in a while.
Hey guys.
But what we are doing is we're up here in November, actually late November, almost December, and you can't see it from here, but we are both hammock camping. So I want to show you my system because we're just kind of testing some things out. This is the Warbonnet Blackbird. That's what I'll be spending the night in. But you can see down in the bottom I have no underquilt. I haven't picked up one of those yet. So I'm experimenting. This is kind of a big theme of what I do, but I'm experimenting with what I have on hand. So what I've done is underneath, so for that ground protection, what would normally be ground protection, I have a wool blanket. This wool blanket is a very inexpensive one, I think 12 bucks from Harbor Freight. So I'm trying that, and then I just had this, you know, this emergency blanket. I always have that on me, so I thought, well, why don't I unfold it and use it also. And then I've got my 0 degree bag, but you guys know what 0 degree means. It means probably more 10 degrees, and if you sleep cold like I do, it's probably more of a 20 degree bag, and that's what we're going to be pushing tonight, maybe, I'm guessing. But then I also brought my really lightweight sleeping bag, down sleeping bag. But what I'm going to use this for is more of a blanket on top, because if I put that underneath me, it's just going to compress and I'm not going to get any insulation value out of it. And then we're just running the tarps on top. So I just thought this would be kind of a fun experiment, and I'll give you guys a report in the morning. Moving over to my brother's hammock here. This is it's actually my hammock. It's an Doublenest hammock. Really liking this one as well. It's a more affordable option. How are you running your system? So same thing, right? We don't have an underquilt for you.
No, Yeah, so I took everything I've got, just layered it as thick as I could.
So we're kind of going with the layering concept, as you guys can see. You guys are shaking your heads. You guys are a bunch of hammock newbies. But we're trying it out. We're doing it in steps.
Yeah. So my thought was thinking, okay, you got conduction, convection, and radiation. So I got the space blanket. And I've got a wool blanket. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have used these before, but it's an insulated inflatable air mattress. So this gets about 2.5 inches thick. It's got the Primaloft insulation inside, so it's kind of laminated to the top, and it kind of hangs down when it's all inflated. And it is awesome. It's worth its weight in gold. I don't have it inflated, of course, so I don't know how much good it's going to do, but at least it's another little layer between me and the ground.
In the air.
yeah, the air, I guess. The cold air. And then, anyway, I threw a bivy sack. That's for another reason, though. I've got the 0 degree sleeping bag in here, and then I've also got some old jackets in here that I figure I'm just gonna pile on top of me, and that's why I've got the bivy sack in there, is to make sure everything stays on top of me and doesn't move around.
Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna layer some of my extra clothes underneath, so we're using what we have. Again, kind of going back to a big concept of just my channel, and you know, trying to save a few bucks here and there, or you know, still getting out while you're saving for maybe that underquilt that you know, who knows, we'll see what happens in the morning. Maybe we're gonna go run out and buy them immediately. Like, this sucks.
That's actually how I ended up with the insulated air mattress.
Yeah.
There's one trip I'm going, okay.
That was me and you, right?
Yeah, that was the last. Was that 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. Yeah, and I'm very grateful for it. Man, it's 2 inches, so it's nice and soft and cushy.
So we'll give you a report in the morning of how we slept. This will be an experiment. For those that don't know, these hammocks, and this, to be very clear with you guys, this is the second time I've been in the hammocks. I haven't been able to get out that much as of late. But the first time was during the end of the summer, and I had a little pad on the bottom, and I could tell when I came off that pad, it was a lot cooler underneath. So you really want to insulate underneath, and if you put down directly under you and between the bottom of the hammock, you compress all that down and you start to lose that insulation value. So what they do is they make underquilts that actually go underneath right here, so you're not actually compressing the material, but you're laying on top of it. So that is probably the most ideal thing out here. But again, to reiterate, we're using what we have. All right, Sleeves, how did you sleep?
Pretty dang warm.
Pretty warm?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was comfortable. In fact, I think I'm converted to hammocks.
Yeah, I got him into the hammocks now, so he's like, I loved it.
It was nice. No rocks, no sticks, no roots.
It was nice. Again, guys, second time in my hammock over here, and oh man, I'm definitely a fan of the hammocks. The warmth, last night we figure it got down about 35 because it didn't freeze last night. So in all honesty, it was a pretty mild night. But what we used, that system that we showed you earlier, worked very well and kept us warm. One thing that we were noticing though is if it got any colder, it may not have held up as well. So I probably will still break down the road and get an underquilt, especially for when it gets colder. But the systems we use now work well. We figure if it got down to about 30 degrees, the systems would have been just fine, but again, we're kind of guessing there. But based on last night, I'm pretty confident in that statement. But just a little feedback of maybe what you can do with your system for hammocks as you're building them, because sometimes it's hard to buy everything at once, and a lot of this stuff you already have on hand, so something to try.